Hola, hola. Buenas noches. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thanks for hopping on. We're going to get going real quick with this live stream. So hold on tight. We're going to go for a drive to Playa del Carmen and then back. And we're going to hit up the Colonial side on the way back and do a little grocery shopping. But we're not going to videotape that because we're just grabbing a couple things. But we're going to be videotaping the drive. So we're taking our bike in, my bike in, to get fixed as it had a flat tire just a few days ago, Christmas Day to be exact. We're going out for dinner on Christmas Day. So watch out for that video. That'll be dropping tomorrow, actually. We're going to bump that video ahead just to keep it current for you guys, what it's like here in Puerto Morelos. Welcome, welcome. You're here with Two Gringos on the Gulf. My name is Darryle. Thanks for hopping on. Truly appreciate it. So without any further ado, let's get going with the video play. Hold on. Let's go. Thanks again for hopping on. Truly appreciate it. God bless. Who got that all out there? Oh, crap. I need water. Okay. Let me start this video here and go get my water. 1 second. So you can just watch it play through here. I'll kind of chat while I go grab my water. So here we are just leaving our home in the gated community, and we're going to head out through the town of Puerto Morelos and head out onto the highway and drive to Playa del Carmen. So I got the bike in the back seat, as you can't see because you're looking out the window. So we're still getting over a little bit of the sniffles here. It's coming to an end, though. I thought it was gone, actually, a couple days ago. I woke up, my nose was like clear as a bell. And then a day later, I'm like, no, I still got the sniffles again. What the heck? So excuse me if I sniffle a couple of times. I feel great, other than a little bit of a plugged nose, but it's definitely cracking now. So I thought it was gone already, to be honest with you, but it seemed to have come back a little bit. So maybe it's because of the not the AC, but because of the dry. We run the dehumidifier. We don't run the AC too very often. So again, welcome. So there's going to be a little bit of writing on the screen here, so you can see what's going on. There goes the Policia, just went by. There's the temperature, got it in Fahrenheit and Celsius for you Canadians and Americanos. Light breeze. Let's go. Hopefully you can hear me well. Hopefully the sound is good. If you could drop me a comment, let me know how the volume is. I am using the right microphone today. Again, we got the good camera going, so everything should be hunky-dory. But God only knows with technology today. God only knows. Only God knows the answers. But I did check before we started here, and I was using the correct microphone. And I do have volume bars up there, so everything should be good. But I'm going to go grab a quick water, and I will be back in a second as we drive through the town of Puerto Morelos and head out onto the highway. Hold on. Oh, had to charge up the old water pump here. Hopefully you can still hear me. I think the receiver works pretty well in this thing. Last time I checked, it did anyway. It carries for quite a ways, the sound, which is kind of good. I know they weren't, I mean, they're not DJI, but they're pretty good quality cordless microphones. So I'm sure you can hear me digging in the ice cube tray here. Oh, delicious water. I was a little bit late getting going today. Sorry about that. I had to have a quick shower. I wanted to smell fresh for you. Well, we had a beach day, so I had to wash the salt air off. Welcome. So we didn't get very far. Here we are just going through the town of Puerto Morelos, coming up to the highway, and we are on the Colonial side. So across the highway from the port side, about a 15-minute drive from the beach. So welcome, welcome, my friend. We're going to go for a nice drive here all the way to Playa del Carmen. These guys here sell food just off to the right there. Sorry about the glare. A little bit of street food there. We got to try that out yet. So many places to try yet. We've only been here for a few months, so we have lots and lots of time to check out the town and the area. So I had a subscriber. He wants me to, Rob, I believe his name is. He wants me to check out an area for him, which I'm going to do this week. I'm going to get over there and videotape neighborhood he's going to be moving to. So I'm going to drop that kind of as a bonus video here coming up this week. So maybe Wednesday, I'm thinking. Wednesday or Thursday. It'll be a bonus video anyway. So we got our usual video we'll drop tomorrow, and then again on Friday, and then our live streams on Sunday and Wednesday. And I've been dropping a lot of bonus videos lately, and we've been going live quite a bit lately. So if you've missed our other live streams on location, you can go back and check them out. I made a separate folder for them as well. Like if you just click on the live stream tab, they're there. But I also put them in a separate folder to add to the playlist. So it's easier for me to share that versus the live stream tab. I don't think you can even really share that. So in order for me to share the live stream folder, it's a lot easier. So I can get the live streams out there to people that want to check them out, check out the live streams. Look at those clouds, eh? I never noticed that till I was making a video. Like, wow, pretty streaky. Very, very streaky. So it's a pretty casual drive. I mean, this highway gets pretty busy and can be, I won't say scary, but I mean, people drive pretty fast on it. You got to have your wits about you at all time, that's for sure. Especially those white vans. Not everybody, obviously, but some people drive pretty fast on this highway and weaving in and out of traffic. There's a couple times you'll see people pull in front of me and just weaving in and out of traffic. So it's you definitely got to have your wits about you. It's a busy highway. Well, you got all these tour vans going back and forth, right? So from the resorts. So I don't know if you've ever been picked up from the airport here in Cancun and hopped in one of these white vans here that's in front of us. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I remember years ago when we holidayed here and getting in these vans and going out to the resort and going, holy crap, am I going to live? Am I going to live? And you're just white. You're not even driving and you're white knuckling it. Oh, hey, Magic Crate. Thanks for hopping on. Sean, thank you. God bless. Cold front coming, upper level clouds. Yeah. Not here. Not here. It's been windy, though, the last little while, but it hasn't been cold by any stretch of the imagination. Well, it's winter temperatures for us, but there's been a couple days here I'm like, I could put a long sleeve shirt on and maybe some pants, especially in the evening. Like we notice here, compared to the Yucatan, it actually does cool off a little bit in the evening and the early morning. I mean, it does sometimes in the Yucatan too, but it's bloody hot over there. Bloody hot in Merida and Progreso. And it's definitely hotter in Progreso, the beach town, than here. Because I remember when we lived there, quite often I would check the temperature over here, especially the last year that we were there, because we were thinking about coming over here first to live before we ended up going to Oaxaca and Veracruz. So I'm like, I wonder what it's like over there. And it's like, yeah, it was like 5 degrees cooler over here just about every time I checked. So when you're talking, 30 degrees to 25, I mean, that's a big difference. Not all the time it was 5 degrees, but quite often it was 5 degrees. Hey, Caesar Time, welcome, welcome. Freezing rain, Southern Ontario. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the reason why we left. Canada is definitely sick of the winter, but that's definitely not the reason why we left. We didn't leave because we thought it was cheap. We didn't leave. We didn't move to Mexico because we thought it was cheap, and we didn't move to Mexico to escape the cold weather. We moved to Mexico because we love Mexico. We love the food, the culture, the weather. Obviously, I mean, who doesn't like the Caribbean, right? You know, you'd be crazy not to love the Caribbean. I mean, obviously, the weather did play a little bit of a factor, but definitely was not the main reason why we moved here. Definitely not the main reason. So, and the government kind of helped us fast track our move as well. Yes, he definitely helped fast track our move for sure. The government definitely fast tracked our retirement. But as I've said a million times, and I'll say it again, it was always our dream to retire in Mexico years and years before, any of the nonsense, like 12, 15 years ago was always our dream to retire here. Always, always, always. So, but yeah, the government definitely helped us fast track our dream. Well, as soon as Jennifer found out she could work from home, that was it. It was a game changer, right? So we started right away, like in a year before we moved here in 2021. So basically 2019, 2020. So 2020, really, we got the ball rolling. We're like, you know what? I can work from home now, Jennifer, why don't we sell everything we own? We got nothing keeping us here, and let's make our dream a reality and move to Mexico and keep working. Now, at the time, the company Jennifer was working for, Central Carriers, was her boss was all for it. He was like, "Go, awesome." He encouraged her to move here, and keep working, back in Canada, right? Online. She was already working remotely anyway, right? So he encouraged her to come here. So, and that was, it didn't take much of a push. It really didn't take much of encouragement at all. I mean, of course, we had reservations. You're a little bit paranoid, all the what ifs and, leaving the country and, starting a whole new life. Our little dog, we had to take that into consideration. Little Cece, he was already 14 years old or 12 years old when we moved, so yeah, we had to take all that in consideration. He was already a senior dog at 12 years old, right, when we moved here. So, but he was pretty healthy, right? Even though he had a heart murmur right from birth and whatnot. But yeah, it really didn't take much encouragement. And then my job was seasonal anyway. So I was only working 6 months of the year. I was working in the summer months only and then going on unemployment insurance in the wintertime. So it was nothing for me to pack up and leave. I just went, sorry, I won't be back next season. They were shocked. Definitely my boss. They didn't believe me at first. I don't think anybody believed us for the first while. I thought people just thought, yeah, right, whatever. Sure. And I'm sure a lot of people thought, oh, you'll be back. 4 years later, we're still here and we haven't gone back. So, and here we are. So yeah, it was, it's been, I'm not going to say it's been easy because it hasn't been easy for sure. There's been a lot of days where you just, I want to pull my hair out, but I don't have any, thank God, because I would have pulled it out. So it definitely hasn't been easy. But if it wasn't for Jen not being able or being able to work online, we would never move here. We're not wealthy. We don't have millions of dollars in the bank for retirement to move, to move here and be fully retired. So, if Jen wasn't working there, there's no way we wouldn't be here. And plus, we have no children either, right? We have no kids, no grandkids. So I know that holds a lot of people back, right? Having kids and having grandkids. A lot of people don't want to leave their grandkids, so we don't have any of that. So, we had nothing else holding us back other than family, which we love and miss dearly, and hopefully they come visit us one day. Hopefully, my brothers came, so that's a bonus. So far, 2 of my brothers have come, so that's awesome. So yeah, we're I mean, I wanted kids when I was younger, but as I got older, like when I turned 40, I'm like, nah, I don't want no kids. It's too late in my life to start having kids at 40. So Oh, when I was younger, I did want to have kids. When I was in my 30s, I thought, oh, it'd be great to have kids. But when I turned 40 and didn't have any kids still, I'm like, yeah, there's a reason for it. Everything happens for a reason. So definitely a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason. So, so here we are, still a little ways out of Playa del Carmen. The camera actually overheats just as we're getting into Playa del Carmen because I have it up on the dash, as you can see, and it's pretty hot. And I've been meaning to rig something up to blow the AC onto the camera, but I haven't done that yet. So we do lose the camera, but we cool it off rather quickly, and Jen gets it up and rolling, and we're just about at our destination anyway. And then coming back, it's good the whole way. So it was just going there. Just when we exit off the highway, we lose video, and it actually couldn't happen at a better time because we were at a red light. So we really didn't miss much. We were at the red light and we got it up and running before we got back to the light, I do believe. So, and then Jen just kind of held the camera. So it's going to get a little bit wobbly, but it's just Jen holding the camera. She's not drunk or anything, honestly. So my bike is actually still in the shop. So it was Friday afternoon we brought it there. So, and she said, we're really busy. Or no, it was Saturday morning. Sorry. Yeah, Saturday morning. And she's like, we're pretty busy. I don't know if we're going to get at it today. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. So yeah, it was just yesterday. I'm like, oh, no big deal. I said, I'll come pick it up Monday. If it's not available Monday, I'll come on Tuesday. So I have a feeling that they didn't work on it at all Saturday, and then they were closed today, Sunday. So they're probably going to work on it on Monday. And I'm just going to tell them I'll come Tuesday to pick it up because we have aqua size on Monday morning. So, and I don't feel like driving out over there in the afternoon. So I'd rather go first thing in the morning. So if they do phone, I'll just go get it on Monday or Tuesday. I mean, so no big deal. It's right off the highway. It's not very far. Like it's about a half-hour drive, a little better than a half hour. So I'll zip in there. And with Jen's job being in BC now, she's working for a company out of British Columbia. She doesn't start till like noon. So yeah, there's a lot of police presence over the holidays. There's an accident right there. So we just went by an accident. As you can see, there's some vehicles being loaded up. We just missed it. They got it all cleared up, obviously. So, but there's a lot of police presence on the highway here. I noticed, well, ever since the Christmas holidays have started, there's been a lot of police presence. And I've seen that online, actually. There was a post about it in one of the news media outlets here on social media saying that they're bringing in lots of police. So, hey, Happy New Year to you guys too, man. Thanks for hopping on. Truly appreciate it. Truly, truly appreciate it. Yeah, well, if your grandson stays at your place, then yeah, it's pretty tough to leave when your grandson is staying there. He'd be sleeping out in the cold. Yeah, family first. You know what? I just thinking a while ago here, last little while actually, about my father quite a bit, and I almost wish that we would have went and stayed with my dad instead of moving to Mexico and looked after my father. Maybe might have prolonged his life a little bit. I don't know. You have those thoughts, right? Like, maybe I would have been better off to quit my job, Jennifer work online like she's doing now, but live with my dad, and maybe we could have slowed his dementia down a little bit. And you just have those thoughts, right? Like, maybe I could have done something differently and help my father a bit more, and did exactly what we did, but instead of move to Mexico, go live with my dad in northern Manitoba, northern Saskatchewan. So just one of those regrets, right, that I have to live with, I guess. I don't know if it would have made any difference, but I just been having that thought. So I don't know. It's funny how your brain works, and I was thinking that a while ago, actually, more than once I've thought about it, but oh well, what do you do? So, hey, welcome, No Way. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you being part of the channel, man. Fully appreciate it. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I had such a great time cycling in Oaxaca, man. I got more videos to come of that too. So those videos are pretty raw, pretty natural for the most part. I've bleeped out my swear words because I've had quite a few days. I'm a very vocal person, so yeah, I bleeped out a few swear words, and I think there's even a couple videos where I didn't catch them all. So it was all in fun, though. So I don't know if you're familiar with biking at all, but yeah, you're like, okay, are we there yet? And then when you finally do get back home, you're like, oh my god, that was so amazing! What an amazing bike ride! It was just awesome. But meanwhile, when you're on the trail, you're like, oh my god, I'm so freaking hungry, and you're climbing up those hills, and you're like, oh my god, you know, I need to stop. I need a break. Whatever. It's hot. I'm hungry. I want something to drink. I want to stop. Cheeseburger. Great. Now I want a cheeseburger. Freaking awesome. So we got a Caesar. We got a freaking cheeseburger. What's next? Taco? Where's the taco guy? So we all want to have a Caesar and a cheeseburger now. Perfect. Thanks for hopping on, guys. Fully appreciate it. Don't mind my sniffly nose Kleenex here. So actually, I feel pretty good though, considering a little bit of a runny nose. But other than that, I feel fine. So the last few colds that I've had, that's all it's been. It's just been a head cold, just plugged nose, and usually doesn't last very long. 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days tops. So knock on wood. I don't want to knock on anything here because I don't want to jiggle anything loose. Next thing I know, my camera will be out again, or the video will be gone, or the sound will be gone, or something. Hey, function and performance able, ABK. We'll just go with function. Welcome. Appreciate the compliment for the videos. So we do as if you guys have been following us, we do a wide variety of videos. Some are very little editing. Some I do a lot of editing. Some have no editing. Some I bleep out the swear words. Some I don't. I don't usually swear on camera too often, though. Not too often at all. But in the biking videos, there's a few swear words for sure. Definitely dropped a few F-bombs and other ones. My biggest thing biking was hallelujah. I was known as the hallelujah guy when I was biking. Hallelujah. And the guys would laugh at me because I was always cracking jokes and funny. So I was always the funny one. Always the funny one and the hallelujah guy. So it took them a while to warm up to me when I first started biking with those guys. But I went like every week, sometimes twice a week for 4 months solid, every week with those guys. So we got to know each other quite well. So, and they became family. They really did. I had such a great time in those biking videos, man. So yeah, we do a wide variety of videos off the beaten path, and then plus the tourist areas, and we try to do a little bit of everything. So, and then obviously our budget videos that we drop faithfully every month, and we're very honest about the budget video. There's no BS in those budget videos. I mean, your budget obviously is not going to be the same as ours, but it gives you an idea of what you can expect to pay for maybe rent. If you get a similar place in a similar area, and your cell phone and power and stuff like that, right? So that's can be relatively the same, again, depending on your area, but it just gives you a little bit of an idea. You know, it's Mexico's not cheap, depending on your lifestyle, right? And we like to dine out. We like to live life just like we did back home. So we try not to really do too much different. A little bit. I mean, we are dining out more than we ever have before back home in Canada. We never dined out as much as we do now. We dine out a lot here, a lot, and it's not cheap to dine out. So as you'll see in our videos that we do, so we do a lot of dining out. So, and everything that, like I said, we don't BS anything. We don't sugarcoat anything. The numbers are the numbers. When we dine out, that's the numbers. That's true. And same with Jen's budget video. That's it. That's our budget. That's what we spend a month. Whether you like it or not, that's what we spend. Sometimes our budget videos are like, holy crap, you guys spend a lot of money, and oh, well, it's cheaper back than here. But you know, it is what it is. Nobody's life is going to be the same, right? We travel quite a bit. You know, we do a lot of traveling. We have a car, you know, which you know adds to the budget, right? You know, Edmonton. Well, that's where we moved from. Kelly, welcome, welcome. I'm sure you knew we moved from Edmonton, Alberta. We were living in the Lango Lindo area, the Lake District. We sold our house there. My nephew actually bought our house. So, welcome, welcome. When we moved to Oaxaca, I just reached out to a guy in my neighborhood who's fixes bikes. So, and he only lived a few blocks away. So I was looking for someone to fix my bike when I left Huachuco, and he only lived I don't know, maybe 5 blocks away, a 10-minute bike ride away. Not even, I don't think. So I went over to his house to get my bike fixed, and then he says, well, we go biking every Sunday. You're welcome to join us. We meet at Santo Domingo in El Centro every Sunday, and we go biking, a group of us. I said, oh, really? Right on. How much is it to go? He goes, nothing. It's free. I said, free? Well, that's the price that I like. I'll be there. So I just started going every Sunday. Every Sunday I started going. So that's how I met them. And then as time went on, you know, people were coming and going. It wasn't the same group of guys all the time. Actually, the guy that introduced me to the group, he didn't even go for the first little while because he was kind of laid up. He was in an accident. So, and then he was busy with work and other stuff. So he didn't even go that often. He didn't start coming until later on. Manuel is his name. And yeah, and then I just, you know, you just meet more and more people all the time, right? Well, like I said, it wasn't the same group all the time. So probably about 8 of us were pretty regular, you know, at least. There's usually 8 of us that were the same guys all the time, and girls. So, and then it would switch up all the time. And we got times where there was like over 20 people going. There was like 20 some, 24, 20, 25 of us sometimes, you know. Yeah. The locals are great people, man. I haven't met a local that I've disliked. I've met gringos here that I didn't really care for, but I've never met a Mexican I didn't care for. Not yet, anyway. Again, knock on wood. I'm sure there's one out there. Yeah, the guy that scratched my car a couple of days ago. I don't like that guy, but I never met him, but I'm pretty sure I don't like him. But I don't know if he was a local. He could have been a gringo. I don't know. I have no idea. So yeah, so those biking days in Oaxaca is just, I don't know, man. They're just so dear to my heart, man. And those videos really don't do it any justice. And I really wish more people could see those videos and watch the full thing from start to end. But I realize it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's they're definitely, though, that time is definitely dear to my heart. It's definitely one of the best times I had here in Mexico is those biking days with those guys. I can honestly say that it was something really special to get out there and see Oaxaca like that on bike. You know, we weren't just going 5-10 minutes out of town. Like, we were biking for 6 hours, you know, 3-4 hours one way, you know, way out and going through these little towns, these little pueblos, and then getting to a destination and having something to eat, an authentic Oaxacan meal with no gringos in sight because we're in a small little puebla, just nothing but locals, you know, nothing but locals. I hardly saw any gringos when we were out and about, except for the few that were on our bikes, you know, on our biking crew with us, you know. So it was very authentic Mexico, and it was quite something to get out there and just see the real the real world like that. In Veracruz, I experienced that too, though. You know, the real Mexico, but I didn't have a biking group like I did there. You know, I didn't meet up with Roger until later on, which was too bad because Roger speaks the language, and I wish I could have met Roger earlier and hung out with him a little bit more. But I did hang out with him a bit. We did a road trip with him, and well, me and my other friend there. Geez, I can't think of his name right now. Our neighbor friend. But anyway, yeah, I experienced that a lot in Veracruz too, but I didn't have the friendships that I had like I did in Oaxaca. I just didn't meet the people there, you know. So unfortunately, but yeah, the Oaxacan biking videos and time I spent biking was just incredible, incredible. I saw some beautiful country, and I got more videos to drop of that too. So if you like those videos, there's still more to come of Oaxaca. So I just wanted to. I have so many that I wanted to get going with videos from here, from the Caribbean. So otherwise, they would be like, you know, 6, 7 months out of date, right? So we kind of jumped ahead. So, and the biking videos didn't do as well as what the beach videos do. More people are into the beach there than they are into me biking in the mountains. So myself personally, I would rather go biking in the mountains with my friends than go to the beach. I really would. But it is what it is, and I get that more people are interested in the beach, right, than they are into biking. So I kind of put the biking videos on the back burner, and we'll drop them as time goes on. So if you like them, they'll be there eventually. I got more to come. I got lots uploaded already. If you just go to our Oaxaca tab, you go to the playlist, you can click on Oaxaca, and you can see all of the videos from Oaxaca. You know, if that's what you're interested in. So, and it'll be the most recent ones in Oaxaca. Because I left Huachuco and Oaxaca is all mixed together, right? So obviously Huachuco is part of Oaxaca. So this is it, man. We're just about, where are we here? Yeah, we're just coming into Playa del Carmen now. So not too much longer. We'll be, or did we go into Playa already? Maybe we went into Playa already. We might be leaving. I was busy yakking. I wasn't really paying attention to where we are. Oh, no, it says Tulum there. The sign just said Tulum. Yeah, so yeah, we're just coming into Playa del Carmen. So, yeah, the budget videos do well. I think people appreciate the budget videos. When I started researching Mexico back in Canada, I didn't see anybody doing budget videos. No, I couldn't find any. So a lot of people are doing them now. That was 4 years ago. So when we were back in Canada, I didn't see a lot of Canadians doing videos in Mexico 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Say 5 years ago, because I started researching a year before we moved here. So 5 years ago, back in Canada, when I started watching videos, I started watching Tangerine Travels and Q RuPaul. Those are my two main ones that I watched back in Canada, was Tangerine Travels and Q RuPaul. So I started watching those guys, and yeah, I didn't find any budget videos at all. Nobody was doing budget videos. You'd see the odd restaurant video and showing the price of the restaurant, but nobody was drawing, not that I saw anyway. So, but now everybody and their dog is doing budget videos. So I just saw a niche for it, and that's why we started doing it. Okay, so yeah, here we get off the highway, and we're going to drive along the service road here for a little bit, and then we're going to make a left and go underneath the highway. And the bike shop is just right around the corner here. It's not very far. So, yeah, we were moving around for 4 years. So we spent 2 years in the Yucatan. So we were in, not in Merida, like just outside of Merida for a little while. We moved around the Yucatan quite a bit. And then we went to Progreso. We lived in Progreso for a while, which is only half hour out of Merida. We lived in a gated community like we are now when we first moved here to Mexico in Merida, just outside of Merida, the north end. Really nice gated community. If you go back and look at our oldest videos, you'll see it. And then from there, we went to Progreso. And then from there, we went to Chicxulub, which Chicxulub and Progreso are two towns side by side that run right together, a half hour out of Merida. on the Gulf of Mexico, hence our name, the Gulf of Mexico, because we were living in the Gulf of Mexico. So that's why our name is Two Gringos on the Gulf, because that's where we're living. So here's where the camera overheated. And then from there, we went back into Merida, but not in Merida, but another Pravada, because our friends owned a piece of property, a brand new home that they had built inside a gated, that they bought inside a gated community. And they're like, oh, we're going to be gone for the summer. You guys want to rent our home for the summer months, 6 months, 7 months or whatever, while they're back home in Canada, and give us a great deal on a beautiful home and a nice gated community. Because we were going to leave. We were going to Veracruz, and we're like, okay, actually, we're going to Oaxaca. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll stay. Jen had just changed jobs, so it was in between Jen changing jobs. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll stay here for a little bit longer. So we ended up staying in the Yucatan for 2.5 years, almost. And then from there, we went to Veracruz. Now, we were going to go to Oaxaca, but my friend, a local guy, he was living in Veracruz at the time, Jalapa, and he kept posting all these beautiful pictures of Jalapa in the rainforest. And I'm like, where are you? It's so beautiful there. It kind of looks like Alberta in a bit, other than no snow. Alberta in the summertime. He's in the mountains and a lot of wildlife and whatnot, waterfalls. And yeah, it just looked beautiful. And he's like, well, I'm in Jalapa. You should come here. Check it out. So we're like, yeah, okay, let's do that. So, and it's kind of on our way to Oaxaca. So we're like, let's go to Jalapa. So we spent, well, actually, we ended up in Coatepec first, which is just 15 minutes out of Jalapa, a small little town, because that was a rental property that we found, and we lived there for a couple months. Long story anyway, we ended up going to Oaxaca, or to Jalapa, after a couple months, and then we stayed there for a year, basically, in Veracruz, and then we spent a year in Oaxaca. So 2+ years in the Yucatan, a year in Veracruz, a year in Oaxaca, moving around, because we lived in Oaxaca City as well as on the beach. So we spent 8 months in Huatulco on the beach there in Oaxaca, and then 4 months in the city of Oaxaca. And then from Oaxaca, we moved here. So yeah, we've been traveling around quite a bit. And on top of all of that, moving around, we've also traveled, within Mexico itself. Like, we've been to Chiapas, we went to all over the Yucatan Peninsula, Bacalar, Chetumal, all down the coast, and over to Campeche and El Cuyo and Holbox, and all over the Yucatan, and then Mexico City, Puebla, traveled around there. Yeah, we've done a lot of traveling. It's all on video, so you can go have a look. You can see all the places we've been. It's all on video. Have a look at the playlist. We've been all over in the past 4 years. Lots and lots of traveling. Lots and lots and lots. And now I'm done. I just want to stay. I want to stay put for a couple of years again. So, like, in the Yucatan, and make some friends and get settled. And because we made a lot of friends in Yucatan too. Like, I have a lot of friends over there, so that we go see, regularly now that we're over here. So, well, we will go see more regularly. We've already been there a couple of times, but we were going to go over the holidays here, but we got both the runny nose and we decided against it. And Jen just started a new job, so we didn't want to go over there. And we just got our sickness here right when we started the holidays. So we had a little bit of a runny nose over the Christmas holiday. So we didn't want to go over there and make our friends sick. So, so we decided to stay home. So, and we were thinking of going for New Year's, but I got some friends that are coming over the New Year's. So I'm going to pick them up from the airport. So we'll go do that. So we're just going to hang around here over New Year's. We're actually going to go to the beach on New Year's, and we're just going to cook a nice supper at home because we've been dining out quite a bit. I got the video that drops tomorrow is actually a dining out video, Christmas Day dining out. So we're going to stay home on New Year's. I'm going to make some ribeye steaks and some delicious jumbo prawns, and just cook a really nice dinner at home for me and Jennifer. And then we're going to go to the beach, take our lawn chairs, because they have kind of like a party down there in the beach, and it's all free. So we like free. Have I said we like free? Because we like stuff that's free. So we'll go down there to the beach and hang out there for a few hours on New Year's. I guess a lot of the resorts will let off fireworks and whatnot down there, and you can see them quite well from the beach. So I'll likely go live down there. So if you're around on New Year's Eve and you like live streams, live on location, we'll probably go live down there on location on New Year's, walking around, and we'll do a short little live. I can't promise you I'm going to stay up till midnight, because chances are I'm not going to stay up till midnight, but we'll probably be down there till, I'm hoping to make it till 10 o'clock. If I can make it till 10, I'll be doing good. Yeah, this is a funny lane here. So it's a T intersection. So what it is, so it's a T intersection. So the two left lanes will be a red light, but the far right lane, you can keep going through. It's a green light, so you can see it's got the bumps there. Now, obviously, all the lights are green now, but if I stay to the far right, even if that light is red there, I can still go through the intersection. And I know that, but I didn't realize it was coming up so quickly, and I didn't get over to the right lane. So, but it worked out good because the light had turned green right away anyway. And it's really funky there. Like you can't tell where the line. People are just like all over, like this. You can't tell where the road, which lane you're in. It's like driving in the wintertime where you can't see the lanes, and all of a sudden there's lines on the road. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I got to move over 3 feet. And you're just kind of following traffic, and people are all over the place through that intersection a little bit. It's kind of wonky, that intersection. So it's kind of a free for all. It's actually only supposed to be 3 lanes, but it turns out to be like 4 or 5 lanes. If they can fit, they're going. If I can fit, I'm coming through, man. And they will. If they can fit, they're coming through. So it's at that intersection, a little bit wonky. So now I know, as soon as I come out of Playa del Carmen, stay to the right, because that lane is coming up rather quickly. I thought it was a little bit further down the highway, or that light, but it's like right there. So it's not far down the highway at all. So fun times, fun times. A little bit easier of a drive coming back because everyone's going into Playa del Carmen and to Tulum. So now we're heading back towards Cancun and Puerto Morelos. So again, if you're just hopping on, we just drove from Puerto Morelos to Playa del Carmen, and now we're turning around and heading back to Puerto Morelos. So this is the highway between Playa del Carmen and Cancun. So if you've been over here in this area, you've probably taken one of those white vans that just went by there, and there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. You've probably been in those white vans, and there's another one, and there's one right there. So many white vans, so many, so many, and big buses, and big buses. I remember a couple of times when we came here, and when we first started coming to Mexico, oh God, 20 years ago now, just about, and got on in one of those white vans, and we're going down this highway here, and the guy's just flying at Mach 10 in and out of traffic, and it's like, holy crap, are we gonna live? Are we gonna make it to the resort alive? Most of them are pretty good though, but you get the odd one that he wants to go Mach 10. I think the speed limit is like only 80 kilometers an hour on this highway. I don't think there's anywhere where it's 100. Nobody's doing the speed limit, that's for sure. Very few people. Some are, but very few. Very, very few. Yeah, I don't think there's any point in this highway where it's 100. I don't recall. I just try to go with the flow of the traffic. So sometimes I'll get in the fast lane and I'll just keep up with everybody in the fast lane. And today I'm driving in the slow lane pretty much the whole way. So I just kind of wanted to have a casual drive going back. Plus for you guys too, so keep it a little bit slower, going Mach 10. So I didn't speed this video up. It's not sped up. It's not slowed down. This is raw, natural video other than the sound, but there's nothing to hear anyway. So me and Jen yakking. So yeah, no, thanks. I've said that a few times, so I don't like repeating myself for people who have been on the videos before, because I know myself, I've watched videos, oh, this guy said this, like I've heard him say this 15 times. So, but for the new people who don't know our travels, it's, kind of necessary. But for the people who have been following us for a while, I apologize and I really appreciate you sticking around and putting up with my nonsense. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, no, we've traveled extensively here so far in the last 4 years. Well, and then before even coming here, right? Like we've been to Puerto Vallarta and all up and down the Caribbean side here before we even moved here. We kind of, and Jennifer lived in Guadalajara. So for anybody who doesn't know that, Jennifer lived in Guadalajara many years ago when she was a young girl. She went to university in Guadalajara. She lived there for 6 months, and that's when Mexico stole her heart. So, and again, I've said that a million times too before, but we'll say it again. So if you didn't know, she won a scholarship back in Canada to go to Guadalajara and study Spanish. So when she was in university, so she lived like a billet program, right? So she lived with a Mexican family over there in Guadalajara. So a wealthy family. They had money. They had a maid and everything. A nice, beautiful home, big house, had a maid. So I think they were teachers. I think one was a teacher or one was a doctor or something. So, and they had kids like her age too. So, and she lived there with them for 6 months. So, and that's when Mexico stole her heart. And I, excuse me. And I had never been out of Canada until I got married. So, when I married Jennifer when I was in my 40. So this is you go by this checkpoint. If you've never been on this highway, this checkpoint is stationary. It never moves. It's the police are always there. So when you're going and coming, they're there. Sometimes they're pulling people over. Sometimes they're not. Usually I've never bothered me. I think one time they looked and said, oh, where are you going? And all the times I've driven down there, otherwise they just drive through, but they do pull people over there. I've seen them, pulling people in there. So it's just a checkpoint. There's a lot of checkpoints throughout Mexico. If you're driving around Mexico, you'll see that a lot. It's a lot of checkpoints. Don't be alarmed. And the 4 years I've been driving here, I've never been bothered. So, I'm not going to say that people aren't being bothered because I know some people that are. So see, there's another cop there. We've never been bothered by the police here at all. Not once in the 4 years we've been here. Not one time. Not once. Never been bothered one time. Not once. I had to blow a couple of times, but I'm not a drinker, so it's never been an issue. So I don't drink and drive. So, but yeah, we've driven all over. So, and it's not like It's not like people have come. Oh, you're just staying in your little bubble. No, we don't stay in our little bubble. We've driven all over Mexico. I've driven from coast to coast. We've driven all over. So I've never drove to Mexico City. We drove to Puebla and drove around Puebla. So I mean, like we drove from, back and forth from Merida to Cancun, all over the Yucatan Peninsula on vacation. All the way down to the border, to the southern border. Belize. So all over the Yucatan. We've been all over the Yucatan Peninsula, Campeche, all over, and then obviously drove to Veracruz. And Veracruz, we drove around there quite a bit out of town and drove over to the city, Veracruz, to the coast over there. Drove around there quite a bit and drove around Veracruz a lot. And then we went to Puebla, drove around there, and then drove all the way to Oaxaca, and then drove around Oaxaca all over, and then back here again. We've done a lot of driving. We've put a lot of miles on. And I've never had any problem anywhere. No problem anywhere. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. No problems. I had a friend that was extorted a couple of times, 500 pesos, said she did a bogus traffic violation or whatever, and they just wanted 500 pesos, and she paid it, and off she went. But I've heard it from other people too, and I've read it online, but we've never been bothered once. So, but I'm also driving a car that's Mexican plated, and it's not a fancy car. It's like one of the cheapest cars you can buy in Mexico. We don't stand out. We don't. My car does not represent somebody who has a lot of money. You don't look at my Dodge Attitude and go, "Oh man, these people are loaded." It's the cheapest car you can buy in Mexico. So I have one of the cheapest. It's brand new, or it was brand new when we bought it, but it's one of the cheapest cars you can buy, and I have tinted windows all the way around, and it's got Yucatan plates on it. So it's a Mexican car. So, that's probably played in my favor a great deal, that we're driving a cheap car and a Mexican car. So that's played in my favor a great deal, I'm sure. And like I said, I got tinted windows. So you can't, and I'm pretty dark now anyway. So like I'm darker than some of my Mexican friends. So they just think I'm some old Mexican guy driving around. Look at this poor old Mexican guy driving around. He's driving the cheapest car in Mexico, so we're not going to bother this guy because he obviously has no money because he's not rolling around in a Mercedes or a fancy SUV. So I'm not saying just because you're going to roll around in that you're going to get bothered, because there's thousands and thousands of cars on the highway here that are way nicer than mine, and I'm sure those people are not getting bothered. So, but I think it does make a difference if you have a foreign plated car. Now, if you're driving around with a car that's got a Canadian license plate or an American license plate, then you could be a target. Absolutely, 1000%. Not always, but I think that plays into it a great deal if you're driving a foreign plated car versus driving, or a rental, if you're driving a rental, because they have a special plate, and anybody, they know it's a rented car, right? So they know you're a tourist, right? Where we're not tourists, right? So that makes a big difference, I think. So yeah, I've never been to Guadalajara myself. I've never been over there, so I'd love to go back there. It's changed quite a bit apparently, but I would love to go there and check it out. Jen would love to go back there, and maybe one day we'll make it over there. But we got a lot of places we'd like to go. Yeah, like to go over to Mazatlan, and yeah, there's a lot of places we'd like to go. I don't want to go north. Like I have no desire to go north, too much further north of Mexico City. Like I don't want to go up around the border anywhere. Mazatlan would be about the furthest I'd go as far as going north, but I thought maybe the Baja California, go check that area out, but I don't know if we will or not. We'll see. Obviously, if we do, we'll fly. So we're going to stick around here. We signed a year lease here, so this is the longest lease we've ever signed. We have stayed in places for a year, but we've moved around a little bit. So we signed a year lease here. That's the longest we've ever lease we've signed. And I think we're going to sign another one if our landlord will keep us. So I think we'll stay here for a couple of years in this domicile, this house. We really like it here. We like the neighborhood. We like the house. We like everything about it. So we love the town. We love the beach, that location. I say we got Playa del Carmen, half hour away. You got Cancun, half hour away. 3 hours roughly. You're in Merida, So what more could you ask for, right? Colonial City. You got all the cenotes over here. You got all the Mayan ruins. We love this area of Mexico. So this is the area that we love the most over here. So I loved Huatulco. I did. I really did. But and Veracruz as well. I loved it over there. But this home here, it has everything, right? Like we have it's really gringonized, if you want to say. Like we got water pressure here. We got solar panels. We got fiber optic internet. Like it's we got pretty good here. So we're gonna stick around here. I love having the water pressure. The water pressure is a big plus. So I know, like if you've come here in the resort, if you've never lived here before, like a lot of the homes are just gravity fed, right? So unless you get into a newer complex, where they have water pressure, like the resorts all have water pressure. Not all the Airbnbs do, but all the resorts do, and hotels, that they're all just like your house back home in Canada or the US, with water pressure and good internet, But when you start living here and you live in these older homes and whatnot, you don't have all those luxuries, right? So the gated communities usually do, usually you have pretty good infrastructure as far as water pressure and all that, you know. So yeah, and then you know we can flush our toilet paper. So we don't worry about it too much. We love it here. We really do. So hence why we're going to stick around this area for a while. See, look at this car rolling up beside me here. This fancy Camaro, lime green. Actually, I think I saw that same car today down at the beach. He was parked behind me. So now we're making our way back. So we're not too far actually, and then we'll drive over to the port side. Yeah, when we get back, we're gonna go to the port side. We got to pick up a few groceries, but we don't document that. So we just go in, grab a couple things. We didn't need a heck of a lot. And then we get back in the car. Oh, there is something funny though. We get to the port side, and the route that we normally take, they have it closed off because there's a pumper truck there, a cement truck. There's got a lot of new construction going on in Puerto Morelos over there on the Colonial side. Well, Colonial and the port side, but on the port side there. And so we had to turn around and then go back around. And then we got behind this police officer, and he was going like super slow, doing his thing. And then some guy come out of the store there on the sidewalk, and he stopped in the middle of the road and talked to him for a couple minutes while the traffic is lining up behind him. He didn't talk very long, but you know, and then there's another guy just casually leaning on the side of a car talking to his buddy, and he's half out in the middle of the road on the street, and go by him at 1 kilometer an hour. You don't want to hit him, and just nonchalantly, you know, standing out on the road talking to his buddy, spread out, spread eagle, with his legs crossed, just casually taking up half the lane while he talks to his friend in the car window, not a care in the world. So creep by him, and cops in front of us, and then his buddy pops out and talks to him for a few minutes. Meanwhile, traffic's backing up behind me, and yeah, they have little markets. They do. I got a video. We're gonna do a video here. They put on a market every Sunday. It's pretty big actually here on the Colonial side. We just stumbled across it one day after we moved here. We were biking, and oh, there's a big market over here. Holy crap. And then we started seeing people posting about it online. But they have a big market on Sunday. We'll get over there. And I did a couple shorts over there when we were dropping shorts. So when we walked through the market, we did some shorts. So I wasn't really prepared to do a video. So I'll get over there and do a video of that market pretty soon here. Should go during high season while it's busy. So every Sunday they have it. And then they have little markets over on the Colonial side, but or the port side, sorry, but it's kind of like high-end stuff. It's not like a market that you would see in, say, Veracruz or Oaxaca. You know, the one that they have here on Sunday on the Colonial side, it's more like a traditional Mexican market that you would see in Veracruz and in Oaxaca, you know, more authentic Mexico. But the one on the port side, it's all touristy, high-end crap over there, right? So, you know, they're fancy organic stuff and handmade crafts and stuff like that. It's all high-end stuff. It's definitely higher end stuff over there on the port side. So everything's more money on the port side. So we got to start eating over here a little bit more on the Colonial side. So we keep going. I mean, we have eaten over here a couple times, but we haven't documented any of our meals over here yet. So we've only documented the ones over on the port side. So we'll start documenting some of the meals over here on the Colonial side. There's a lot of YouTubers here, apparently. I'm not the only YouTuber in Puerto Morelos. There's a few people here, apparently. I'm stumbling across them on my feeds, my YouTube feeds. Oh, there's another YouTuber here. Oh, there's a couple YouTubers here. So I'm sure you guys have probably seen them more than I have. But yeah, we're not the only YouTuber here in Puerto Morelos. I don't know if these people are full-timers, though, if they live here full-time or what. I haven't really watched too much of their videos. There was a guy biking. I watched a little bit of his videos, and I commented on one of his videos, and he never replied back to me. So I kind of stopped watching his videos. I'm not gonna. So if you can't take 2 minutes to reply back to my comment on your video, well then I'm not gonna hang around and watch your videos. That's just me though. So anyway, but yeah, I don't have a lot of time to watch videos anyway. But there is other YouTubers here for sure. We're not the only ones. Definitely not. But yeah, someone pointed out this guy anyway, and he's biking around here. Pretty raw videos, and I checked him out and made a comment on one of his videos, and I don't know, that was like a month ago. Crickets. So I think I watched 2 of his videos. I watched another one too, and I never commented on the second one, or maybe I did. I don't know. I know I commented on one of his videos anyway and never replied back to me, so whatever. I'm that guy. Like if someone talks to me or comments on my videos, I'm gonna write back. And if I might not always write back the same day, but I'm definitely gonna write you back eventually. Usually I'm pretty good though. I'm trying to stay on top of it. So I think it's the least I could do is respond to people who have taken the time to watch my video and drop a comment on my video. Is to take some time out of my day to reply back to your guys' comments. And I appreciate your comments. I really do. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'm excited when I get comments on my videos. So, you know, I'm definitely going to reply back. So I take it like real life. If I walk into a room and someone says, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm going to respond back to that person and say, "Hey, I'm great. How are you doing? Thanks." You know, so I know text messages and all that we've really become more distant. It's not just really brought people closer together. It's social media has just made people more antisocial, I think, than anything else. It's so easy to ignore text messages and Facebook messages or whatever, right? I'm not that person. I always try to be respectful to other people and reply back. If someone messages me, I reply back. Unless it's some BS thing that, you know, people add me on Facebook and you go to their page right away and they have one profile picture and I have 5 friends and they're like, "Hey, where are you from?" You know, like chances are it's a scammer, right? So, you know, so those type of people sometimes I don't comment back to. But yeah, if I see it's a regular person with a real profile and, you know, real friends, you know, that they're posting regularly, you know, or they got their profile and all of a sudden it's their birthday, you know, and that's all that's on their page. It's my birthday today. And they have like 5 friends, you know, or they got 10 friends and it's their birthday, you know. So, but yeah, I always reply back to people, whether it be text messages or YouTube messages, whatever. Mind you, I had an email that I missed the other day or today actually. And I don't know, I think I had sent an email or replied back to his email. And now they have this thing where you can do an instant reply. So it's almost like a message on email. I think I wrote in the message box, but never actually sent it. So I think I did reply back to my friend Keith's message, but I didn't actually send it and exit it off. I'm thinking, because I do remember seeing the message after I read it, like, pretty sure I replied back to that. And then there was no reply. And I wrote him today. And I'm like, did I not reply back to you? Like, no. Oh, that's pretty rude. I apologize. What an ass. Oh well. So here we are going into the port side of Puerto Morelos now, and we're gonna go check out the grocery store, the Chedraui. Now this live stream is gonna be a little bit longer than normal. I don't run my live streams much past an hour because, sorry, that's just me. I like to have a life, so some of these guys will do live streams for like 2-3 hours. I can't do it. So usually about an hour I run my live streams for. So, but we're going to go about an hour and 15, 20 minutes here. So another little bit because this drive was a little bit longer than I anticipated. So, which is okay. So I kind of wanted to show you guys the full drive. We don't go all the way back to the house though, because you've seen that part anyway. And then the camera does die at the end. So, but it dies right when we're in the downtown area of just leaving the downtown area actually on the Colonial side on our way back. So I think I might skip this out coming back a bit here too. I can't remember because we've already driven it once already. So I think I might have skipped the drive back as well. So I think we're cooling the camera off here. Yeah, no, it's the weather's been really good, man. Typical weather for this time of year. It's been rainier than normal though, apparently, so I've been told anyway. I found when we holidayed over here, whenever it rained, it didn't last very long. And it's a warm rain. It's a tropical rain, so it's not like an Alberta rain, where it's cold. So here we're just entering into the port side. Hence the note up there. And they're building a huge apartment building here, condos or whatever. And there's going to be stores in the bottom there too. It's probably going to be 7-Eleven and probably restaurant, coffee shop and stuff in there. Yeah, right now on my computer, it says it's 24 Celsius. So, yeah, the weather's pretty nice. It's been nice the last little while. It's been windy. Haven't had a lot of rain the last few days here. It's been windy, though, but the wind wasn't too bad today. So we went to the beach today. We did our, we went to church. We took the car, obviously, because I only have the one bike. So we took the car to church. So here's this guy taxi. He's going like this. I don't know if you can see it very well in the video. He's going like this to me. Can't go. So the grocery store is straight ahead of us. And then you basically just cross the street and go into the parking lot. But we had to go around the block here. So I'm just backing back out of here onto this busy street. So if you go behind me here, right here on this road, it goes down to El Cid, to the resort, and then there's other resorts down there, but that's the most popular one is El Cid. We actually stayed in that resort down there when Jennifer and I visited this town back in 2016 when we holidayed here. So, and it was actually funny because when we holidayed here in 2016, we were walking around. We walked into town. It's a couple kilometers, and we walked into town here. And this was like back in 2016, and we're like, wow, this is a nice little sleepy little beach town. This would be so cool to live here. And we met a lady who owned a bookstore here, and she's from Canada. Actually, that bookstore is still here, apparently. We never looked for it. Forgot about it, to be honest with you. But anyway, we thought back then this would be a great place to retire, and that was just talking out of our butt, right? Back then, like we had dreamed of retiring in Mexico, but that was like years before we even, thought that it would be a reality, but we thought what a great little place this would be to live. And now here we are. So we're this street here, this will go right to the port here, right to the dock. The pier is straight ahead. So, and there's a marine base here too. So I thought this cop here, I thought he was parking, but he was actually pulling out. So I was like, oh, he's pulling out. Okay. So I stopped and waited for him to pull out. I thought he was parking. They're probably doing a shift change or something. So the green wall right here where the other cop is parked there, that's actually a military base there. There's Marines in there. So, and then the pier is just right there. And then this where the tree is over to the left, and the squares to the right. And then right here in front of us to the right is all your souvenir shops all down here. And then to the left, there's a restaurant, a beach restaurant. The beach is like right there. So you can see here to the right is all the souvenir shops. If you've been here before, you'll know exactly where you are. And then the grocery store is right ahead here to the right to Chedraui. And this is where Buddy comes out. Oh, we went by the guy that was leaning against the car. Forgot to mention him. So here's where his buddy comes out and talks to him for a couple minutes here. It's not very long, but they chat for a few minutes and hold up traffic and not a care in the world. I was like, okay, whatever. I got AC. So they're just shooting the poop over there. And they're like, oh, I guess we better go because the traffic is lining. There's probably about 4 cars behind me at least. But he looks over. He's like, oh, yeah, look at all the cars back there. Oh, well. See you later. Okay, bye. And then he goes like 2 kilometers an hour through here. And I was like, okay, let's get going now. Gas is on the right, brake is on the left. Let's go. Well, I find the police here drive super slow all over Mexico. Like they'll be going down the highway at like if it's 80 kilometers an hour, you know, they'll be going rolling down the highway at like 60. You know, like seriously, no joke. Hey Chris, welcome, welcome. And my brother Lynn, welcome, welcome. Sorry I didn't acknowledge you there, bro. My brother Lynn gave me a big wave there. And now Christopher's on. I was busy yakking. Video's just about over here. So we got 10 minutes left roughly. Not even, I don't think. Not too much longer. Yeah, less than 10 minutes. So then we roll around anyway. We go around the block to get back over to the grocery store. And then I actually left the camera running. I got out and I was like, oh shit, I cut that out, obviously. I got out of the car and I had the door closed and everything. And then I looked back because we have the key fob to lock the door. And when I clicked the door, I was like, oh shit, the camera is still running there. I had the GoPro running up on the dash, recording the brick wall. So I had to go back. It was only running for a minute or so, but I had to go back and turn it off and then take it out of the sun. Took it out of the sun, took it off of the dash and turned it off. We're not in the store very long anyway. Like I said, we didn't need a lot of stuff. We just a couple things, a few vegetables, fruits and vegetables. I really like this chitarawi over here. So, and actually we're going to do a video on this, but we actually think now, Jennifer thinks it's actually cheaper to shop at the grocery store for fruits and vegetables than it is at the market. So we're going to do a real test here though, but she kind of did a rough little draft there a couple weeks ago, and she determined that it might be cheaper to shop at the grocery store versus the market here anyway. So we're going to do a test on that. And then we want to test the chitarawi between this one and the one on the colonial side. So there's one on the beach side and then one on the other side of the highway, 2 chitarawis. We're going to see if they're the same as far as prices go. So we got that to make. And then now we think that maybe it is cheaper to get fruits and vegetables at the grocery store versus the markets. And it's good quality fruits and vegetables. I'm sure it's coming from the same place pretty well. So the chitarawi here, this one here, I really like it. It's good. Fruits and vegetables are good quality. So, and they have everything in there, like as far as, groceries, they got a lot of international stuff, right? So for spices and whatnot. So we don't buy a lot of crap. So we're mostly do the outside aisles. We don't buy from the inside aisles too often. So not too much. I mean, I'll buy canned mushroom soup and then the KD once in a while. But other than that, we're not buying a lot of processed food. We buy meat. We buy meat and vegetables and fruit. That's what we buy. Meat, vegetables, fruit. That's our bulk of our groceries. We're not going up and down the processed food aisle and buying all that crap. We don't buy that shit. So I never have. So, and I think part of that is because I worked in restaurants all my life, right? So I think that's played a big factor in my diet throughout my whole life is because I worked in the restaurants my whole life. So I couldn't wait to have a home cooked meal. I don't want to eat processed crap, It's bad enough I had to do that in the restaurants my whole life. So I think that played a big part of my diet, how I've always eaten throughout my whole life, where I've never eaten a lot of processed food. I mean, obviously I've eaten some, everybody, it's pretty hard not to, but it's not a big part of my diet and never has been. When I would go grocery shopping back home in Canada, it was the same. I didn't buy a lot of processed food. I go get meat from the meat section, and I would buy vegetables from the vegetable section and fruit. I didn't buy a lot of fruit though back home in Canada because the fruit was crap. So I didn't buy a lot of fruit back home. So we do now. We buy a lot of fruit now that we live here. So our diet has changed that way, where there's definitely more fruit has been introduced to our diet. But other than that, we're pretty much eating the same as what we did back home. Other than I think the quality is a lot better here. I guess I didn't skip out the drive. Sorry, going down here. So sad, so sorry. But now you get to see going back. So different vehicles going by. There's really not to see along here. And I just did a walking video along here. If you want to go back and check that out, If you haven't seen it, I walked from our house all the way to the beach one day. It took me about 90 minutes, a little less than an hour and a half. I'm sure I could have done it in about an hour and 5 minutes, maybe 65, 70 minutes if I wasn't monkeying around with the GoPro and the drone. So, well, less if, yeah, I could have done it in an hour if I just would have walked it by myself without messing around with the YouTube shit. So, take about an hour walk, but pretty long, boring walk, really. There's not a lot to see along there. There's mangroves on both sides. I was hoping there was to be a place where I could walk out in the mangroves a little bit, not in the water, but out into the mangrove area on a solid ground and just get a look at the mangroves. But it was too much. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Two fast food joints every block. Yeah, you don't see that here in Mexico anywhere that I've been. Maybe Mexico City, I guess, but even in Jalapa, like I didn't see it. Oaxaca City didn't see fast food places. Probably Mexico City, maybe more Merida. Merida, you do. Merida, there's fast food there. Yeah, Merida, you see a lot of fast food places. Not like you see back home in Canada in the cities, obviously in the U.S., but definitely a little bit more. So yeah, the drone overheated right there, and then we fired it back up again. So just for a second though, and now we're driving. This is the heart of the town here on the colonial side. So the square's coming up. We did a live stream over here. The square's just to the left, and that's it. You're at the end of the downtown area. It's a pretty small town, right? So that's it. That's the drive. That's the drive. That's it, man. That's it. That's all. Let me there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that drive. And yeah, there's not a lot of fast food places here. The port side is pretty small, and the colonial side is pretty small. The colonial side is a little bit bigger than the port side, obviously. There's more homes, more businesses over here. And the port side is pretty touristy, very touristy over there. So everything's a little bit more money over there. It's expensive to eat out over there. The ports, like I said, everyone goes to the beach, right? So just like anywhere in the world, it's going to be more money at the beach, the restaurants. It's definitely the tourist area over there. And I've said the Mexicans are holidaying here, right? Like the Mexicans are coming here to holiday as well. It's not just gringos here holidaying. You got people from all over Mexico coming to Puerto Morelos to holiday as well as the gringos are over here holidaying as well, because it's a quaint little town. It's a beach town. It's a quaint little beach town. And for people who like the slower paced area versus Playa del Carmen or Cancun, like it's super busy, right? Those are busy areas, so it's quieter over here, and it does still have that quiet little beach town vibe to it, and this is high season right now, and the beach was packed today, packed. The beach, we tried to go to Paradise Beach Club, but we went to church first, and it was lunchtime. We went down there, and they were full. There was no parking. We had to go park on the street. They got a small little parking area anyway. And I kind of figured that when we were going there, I'm like, I don't think we're going to get in. I was just thinking in the back of my head that it's going to be full there. And it was. It was full. It was right full. So we ended up going to another beach club, which was good. I mean, it was nice there. A little bit more high end. The food was a little bit more money. They charged $250 for the beds. Over at Paradise Beach Club, they don't charge you anything. It's just by consumption. But if you sit at the tables, they didn't charge you anything. So other than your food. So we sat at the table, so we didn't have to pay any extra. And we had lunch there. And then we still went and used the beach, obviously, right? We went and had a swim, and we had lunch there. It was 1,000 pesos we spent. Now, I had a burrito sandwich. Well, burrito. I had a burrito with a tiny little scoop of potato salad. Potato salad, I thought it was kind of odd. It was good, though. And my burrito was good. I had a chicken burrito. And then Jen had chicken as well, but she had like a chicken sandwich and it was a breaded sandwich on a bun, like a baguette. It was pretty big. Like it was big. She brought half at home actually. It was so big. Like it was massive. It was massive. And then she got French fries with hers. And then we had a cappuccino. So we both had lunch. We had 2 cappuccinos, and then I had a beer. So I had a Bohemia. If you're not familiar with that, it's kind of like a Modelo, but I do like the Modelo better, but they didn't have it. So I had a Bohemia beer, Claro, the clear one. And then Jennifer had a Bahama Mama or something, Bahama Mama or something like that. She had a drink anyway, an alcoholic drink, and it was 1,000 pesos. So that was with tips. So I believe, so it was just under 1,000. So, but you know, that's pretty typical. That's par, you know. So for a beach town, you know, and the food was, it was not bad, and it was busy there too. It was, they were actually, when we got there was a few empty tables, and then we got there around noon, 12:30. Yeah, around 12:30, because we checked out. We walked from Paradise Beach Club over there, so it was around 12:30, and there was a couple empty tables. When we left, it was full. There was not one empty table, and all the beds out by the beach were full as well. They have a pool there too. I can't remember the name of it. We didn't do a video over there, so it was. We thought we were going to go to the other place, so which we've already done a video. So, but we'll get over there again. It was good. I'd definitely go back there. It was more high end though, for sure. The tables were nicer, nice wooden tables, nice umbrellas. Right beside the dive bar, so you can look on Google Maps. The dive bar, it's right beside there, the beach club there. I can't remember the name of it. So anyway, guys, I've been rambling on here for 1 hour and 20 minutes, so that's it for me. Everybody, thank you so much. No Way, Magic Crate, Chris, No Way, Function. Thank you so much, my brother Lynn, everybody else that's been on the stream. Thank you for all your comments. Truly appreciate it. Cheeseburger, yes. Cheeseburger and Sean, yes. And Caesar time. Thank you guys so much for all your comments. Fully appreciate it. Big shout out to Magic Crate, my number one fan, our number one fan. God bless everybody out there. Peace on earth. And we'll see you on Wednesday. We'll be back live stream again on Wednesday. So new video drops tomorrow, 3 p.m. All of our videos drop same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live stream Sunday, Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, always. So that's it. And then bonus videos drop whenever. So, and then live stream location. We're going to do more live stream location, and they're just going to drop randomly. So be sure to hit the bell notification so you catch the live on location. So we'll see you on Wednesday. Have yourself a happy new year. If I don't see you before then, if not, take care, drive safe, don't get too drunk. And if you do have a drink, salute, cheers. God bless, adios, hasta luego. Thanks again. Peace on earth. Be kind to one another. Got to say that. Be kind to one another.